Welcome to week 5. So, today we're going to be focusing on something every leader needs to get right: how we engage with our communities. We'll walk through some practical strategies and tools that you can actually use to communicate more effectively, build trust, and work better with the people you serve. We'll also look at what really works: simple, proven approaches that lead to more productive and respectful conversations. And finally, we'll talk about how to get ahead of issues and handle tough situations, so you're not just reacting, but lending yourself to those conversations in a way that drives better outcomes. So let me start with this. A community meeting goes sideways really fast, sometimes in the first 30 seconds. Not because of the agenda, not because of policy, and sometimes not even because of the facts. It can go sideways because people walked in already doubting the process, and that is what makes this kind of leadership hard. Most of you have been in a room like that or similar to that at some point in your career. It could have been a controversial incident, a full room of people frustrated, some angry, some skeptical. Some came to speak. Some came to watch. Some came expecting very little. And before anyone says a word, the room is already asking a very simple but probing question. Is this going to be real? Are these leaders here to engage, or are they here just to get through it? And that oftentimes is the challenge. Because command staff are trained to make decisions, solve problems, and restore order. But public engagement asks something entirely different. It asks you to think about the conversation before the conversation ever starts. Think of this. Why are we doing this? Why now? Who needs to be in the room? And what are we actually going to do with what we hear? And that's why we're starting here. Before we can get into facilitation, conflict, and leadership in the room, we need to back up and ask some really basic questions. How do you plan public engagement in a way that is credible, intentional, and worth people's time? This short video gets us started there. As you watch it, listen for a few things. What is the purpose of public engagement? Are people being brought in early enough to matter? And are there real connections between public input and the actual decision-making process? That's one of the big takeaways from the readings. If engagement is going to mean anything, it has to be purposeful. It has to be timely, inclusive, and tied to decision-making. It can't just be for show.
Hello and welcome. If you're in a command staff role in public safety, you already know that engaging with your community isn't just some item on a checklist, it's absolutely central to your leadership. So today, we're going to break down a strategic playbook that will help you turn that engagement into your most powerful tool for success. So let's start with a really fundamental question. Is your community engagement right now a risk, or is it a strategic asset? Without a clear plan, public meetings can go south fast and actually erode trust. But with the right strategy, engagement becomes your greatest asset. And that whole strategy? It really just starts by knowing which questions to ask before you even get started. So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off by talking about the stakes. Then we'll walk through a 3-phase playbook. We're talking about laying the groundwork, designing the process, and then making sure it all has a real impact. And we'll wrap up by looking at how all of this gives your agency a huge strategic advantage. Okay, the core idea here is really simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Proactive planning is the one thing that transforms public engagement from a potential minefield into a strategic win. Seriously, by asking the right questions up front, you set the stage for success, you improve your own decision-making, and you build that all-important public confidence. Now, I want to be clear, this playbook isn't just some theory we dreamed up. It's actually built on a framework from the Institute for Local Government. These folks are dedicated to providing practical, battle-tested advice for local leaders, just like you. All right, let's dive into phase one, the groundwork. These are the absolutely crucial questions you and your team have to answer internally before you ever book a room or send out a single invitation. Honestly, this is where success really begins. First things first, is this even the right topic for public engagement? You know, the best issues are the ones that really stir up strong feelings or have opposing views, where you genuinely need to hear from residents about the kind of community they want to live in. This isn't about trying to persuade them, it's about asking for their perspective. And here's a critical reality check. If the decision has basically already been made, or if you don't have the staff and the budget to actually follow through, well, then any engagement is just going to breed frustration. For this to be meaningful, you have to be ready to invest the resources needed. You know, nothing will derail a process faster than internal disagreement. That's why getting alignment from the very top all the way down is just non-negotiable. Your elected officials, your appointed leaders, everyone has to agree on the purpose, the process, and exactly how the outcomes are going to be used. Think about this for a second. Who better to help you design an effective process than the very people you're trying to engage? It seems obvious, but involving key community members in the actual planning phase is such a powerful way to make sure the format and the whole approach will actually work for them. We just can't ignore the past. If there's a history of mistrust or some old political battles hanging over the issue, you might need a process just to air all that out first. Acknowledging and addressing that history is so essential before you can even hope to move forward constructively. All right, with the groundwork properly laid, we can move on to phase two, the process. This is all about the tactical design, how you're actually going to structure the conversation so it's truly productive. I love this quote from the source material because it just perfectly captures what this phase is all about. Good intentions and well-run meetings are not enough. It's not enough to just want to listen. You need a rock-solid plan for what happens after everybody stops talking. And that brings us to maybe the most critical question of all. How will all this talk be linked to actual action? You have to be crystal clear with the public about how their input is going to be documented and, more importantly, seriously considered. If they don't believe their voice truly matters, you just won't get meaningful participation. It's that simple. It's also so important to follow the right order of operations here. Always, always start with your purpose. What are you trying to do? Get a snapshot of public opinion, build consensus, create a detailed plan. Because your purpose is what dictates your goals, and only then do you choose the process to get you there. So how do you get the right people in the room? Well, there are a bunch of ways to select participants. You can just open it up to everyone who wants to come, you can invite specific leaders, or you can work to create a truly representative sample of your community. Every choice you make here creates a totally different dynamic and leads to a different kind of outcome. Reaching beyond the usual suspects, the folks who show up to everything, it requires a deliberate plan. This means maybe using ethnic media, partnering with trusted local groups, co-sponsoring events on their turf, and making sure all your materials are accessible. Inclusivity never happens by accident. Okay, so we've laid the groundwork and we've designed the process. Now we're at the final, and you could argue most important phase, the impact. This is all about the follow-through, the part that makes sure all your hard work actually matters. And remember this, most of your community won't actually be in the room. So a strong media and communications plan is absolutely essential to let the wider public know that this engagement happened, what was discussed, and that their neighbors were involved in shaping a decision. This is just vital. You have to report back. Let the participants and really the entire community know how their input was considered and how it was used. Closing this feedback loop is fundamental if you want to build any kind of long-term trust. And finally, every single engagement is a learning opportunity. After it's all over, bring everyone back together, your staff, officials, maybe even some participants, to review what worked and what didn't. This is how you make sure your next effort is even better. So, after asking all these questions and following this playbook, what's the payoff? Why go to all this trouble? Well, this isn't just about avoiding a few bad meetings. It's about gaining a really significant strategic advantage for your agency. When you get this right, the results are just so clear. You get more informed and engaged residents. You see greater support for tough public decisions. And probably most importantly, you build lasting public confidence and trust in your agency. And that brings us to our final question. And this one is really for you to take away with you. This playbook, it's more than a checklist. It's a framework for building trust, one conversation at a time. So the question is, as a public safety leader, How will you put these questions into action to strengthen that relationship with the community you serve?
Now, coming back from that video, here's the point I want you to leave with. Public engagement is not just a meeting. It's not just a press event. And it's not something leaders do after the important decisions have already been made. It's a leadership process. If the process is fuzzy, people feel that. If the timing is too late, people know that. And if leaders ask for input but never show what became of it, trust takes another hit. That is why reading puts so much weight on planning, inclusion, leadership alignment, and closing the circle by showing people how their input mattered. As for command staff, that matters because this is not just about communication style, it's not about judgment, and it's not about whether you can create conditions for a hard public conversation to go somewhere useful instead of becoming one more example of frustration and mistrust. So as you get started in this course for this week, that's really the question in front of us. How do you lead when the room is tense? How do you build a process people can believe in? And how do you make sure engagement actually leads somewhere? That's the leadership work of this week. It takes planning, it takes judgment, and it takes the ability to guide difficult conversations in a way that is steady, respectful, and real. And that's where facilitation starts to matter. Facilitation is not just running the meeting. It is shaping the process so people can participate, be heard, and move towards action. That's the work that's in front of all of us. And that's why this week matters. As you prepare for this week, I will be sending out a rather comprehensive exercise that we're going to conduct in class to actually have you put some of these practices into play in some different scenarios. So I very much look forward to seeing you in class and look forward to a participative week number 5. Thanks for watching.